Okay, so I'm on Zorro. I'm going to use these colored reins so you see where I hold them as I'm riding him. And we're going to ride down the road. So we're going to turn around. And off we go. So when you leave in the barn, say you're going to ride your horse alone. So this is for lots of people besides Zorro's new owner. If you have these colored reins, they're helpful in the beginning because you know where to hold them. So he has a shorter neck, so I'm holding in the blue, but I'm right up by the red. Because when you start out, usually the horse is more fresh, it might be a little spooky, so you want to be prepared. You don't want to walk out like this because then they can turn around and go back. You know, they can look all over the place, they won't be paying attention, and they could get trippy. So when you start out, you kind of bring your energy up, sit up nice and tall, and you think forward, we're going out, I'm in charge, everything's good. You don't think anything bad in your brain, because that's what people do, and you don't want to bring that out in the universe. I'm a big believer in that stuff. So here's the little dogs, they might bark at us, so my reins are short, I'm sitting back, see, just like I said, little rat dogs. So you want to be prepared. See, he didn't spook or do anything bad, but if your reins were long and he spooked, maybe he'd turn and you'd think, oh, one rein stop, and you turn and spin the horse around, they trip and fall down. So just be prepared, have your reins short. You don't need to do a one rein stop all the time, okay? You can just pull on the reins and the horse will stop straight. Okay, so my energy's up. I like to ride Zorro with spurs and a stick. It's for backup in case you ever need it. If you don't have backup things and your horse won't go, guess what? You might not be able to get it to go at all. So there's goats down here. They're hiding behind these bushes. That can be scary. So if you're going somewhere like that and your horse starts snorting, which he just did, he goes, they're trying to figure out what kind of animal is back there. So they're taking a big whiff of the smell. And it's not to make you panic. You just know that they're a little bit nervous. So going downhill, you go slow, you half halt, release, makes all the horses pacier going downhill. And if they're not in shape and their stifles aren't strong, you don't need to stop, buddy. If their stifles aren't strong, you can kind of feel their stifles give or lock up as you go down the hill. And a lot of gaited horses do have issues with their stifles because they're not ridden consistently and strong. And people don't practice their arena or pull, so their stifles get weak. So if it feels like your horse's back end is giving out going down the hill, that's usually their stifles, okay? Now going down on cement is a little bit harder. And if you ride on cement, you want shoes with either traction, like Borean studs, or a rim shoe, so it grips the road. If you have flat metal shoes, here comes the dog running. See, my reins are short, so no problem. If you have flat metal shoes, those can slide. So if you're having problems sliding, talk to your shoer about getting something that gives you traction. Now, if your horse's stifles give out, it's no big deal. You work them on hills, you work them over poles. Usually in about 3 months or so, they'll be much stronger. Hi, puppy. So he's going to get us, aren't you? So Zorro doesn't care. Yeah. Okay, but I have my stick and I have my spurs, so if he did care, I could get him by those things. You want to be your horse's leader, not your horse's passenger. If you're going to be a passenger, it's good to get a 20-year-old, calm, gelding that's very good, experienced, and slow. Okay, so I got another German Shepherd on the left. But you see, he's nice and calm. Now, I lunged this horse before I came out. I could have rode him without lunging. He's not hard to ride from what I have to ride usually. But he can be a little bit more jumpy. There's cows right there. He can be a little bit more jumpy when he's alone or in front if he doesn't wear off that energy. And he's in a paddock, but it's a small paddock. So I'm going to let him look for a second because he hasn't seen cows in a while. The beige one might blend in. He might not see that one. That one might look like a ghost. And the black ones probably look like blobs to him. Now, when this stuff happens, you be ready. Have your reins short, have your hands wide, and sitting back. So if those cows all of a sudden sit up or jump up, it's going to scare your horse because the big black blob is going to move. And sometimes they can't tell what the cows are. Now, behind it, up there, those white blobs, those are goats. You can probably see them, but remember, your horse doesn't see detail. So see, he's turning his head. He's looking with his right eye because that's how he's focusing. Hear that sigh? That says, oh, I think it's a cow or one of those smelly animals, but I think I'm fine. So you don't want to push them until they give you that sigh or put their head down. Yeah, you ready to go? He's like, how about a cookie, lady? So now I can push my horse, and my reins are still short. It's up by the red, and my hands are wide, and I'm sitting, and I'm breathing because I'm talking to you. And you just stay in calm. But see, now he doesn't care. So if I got up there, he tried to look at it, and I beat him up. You're beating up your horse for trying to look and assess something. And the brave horses, they'll get over it if you just give them time. See how he puts his head down? The spooky ones, you might have to help them if that's the 20th time going by the cows. But if it's the first time going by the cows and they just came out here, so this is his first time going by, I give him the benefit of the doubt. Help your horse build a relationship. They are not machines, right? I am not the machine. They're living, breathing animals. Realize that's what you have, and it's a relationship. They'll go anywhere if they trust you. They won't go anywhere if they don't trust you. If they don't trust you, they won't go anywhere. Okay. Sorry, the cow up there just stood up. You probably can't see it. But that's what it was. So you saw he just brought his head up and then he stopped, and that was the spook. Okay. So now a truck is coming up, so I'm looking for places to go. We kind of sink in the lawn here, so I've tried that before, so I don't want to do that. And then I'm going to face the truck and let him look. And then there's somebody coming with their dog, so my reins are short. He's looking at the truck right now. You might think he's looking at the dog. Okay. So you'll see grass around, and I used to get up on the grass until a horse sunk down to his chest, and I said, well, that's not a good idea. And then the horse got me out of there, thank goodness. So you might get up here, and then the dogs jump, so we'll see how it goes. Hi!
Hi, yes, I see somebody using the horses.
Yeah, finally!
It's nice because I always see it inside, but now
Oh, never working. Yeah, now I'm working out at Terry's place. Your dogs are beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, you too. See, it's good to ride in your neighborhood. Meet the neighbors. They're all friendly and nice to me. But remember, I ride with that pooper scooper and I get the poop off the road. They never complain and they never ask me to do that. And I just do that because I don't want them to get upset. Not everybody likes horse poop on their tires. Okay. I wasn't talking to you. So sometimes I teach all the horses when I breathe out to slow down or stop. And, you know, sometimes we do that by accident because I said the word okay and I gave out a breath. And so I don't want to punish him for doing that. I just said, no, keep going. And I just squeezed. So if he's turning his head side to side, you just pull on the opposite rein. Now he's not doing it much, but he is doing a little bit. So if I wanted to straighten his head's going right, I pull a little left. If his head goes left, I pull a little right. Because I want him to not be browsing around, but looking straight ahead. Let's go a little faster because I can hear a car coming. Now he's never been over here, so I expect that some of the stuff might scare him because he's never been exposed to this. And he might be totally fine. We'll just see. It's a car racing behind us. So this was a consignment horse, so I sold it for somebody else. So I haven't had him for many, many months. Like I have some of them, but I know him. I trained him a while ago, so I knew he was a good horse. But so I try to expose him to as much as I can in the time I had him, just a month. Big horses, it's hard to reach down and get the gates. People don't realize. Like, you want a big horse, you gotta go under trees and everything else. Sometimes they don't fit. Well, so that's good enough, Zorro. So I try to expose them to as much as I can before they go. Remember, all trainers are different, so some expose them to roads and cars and some don't. You know, he's been on trails, he's been to the beach, he's been to the woods, and so, but I want to take him by traffic and trucks and just make sure I expose him to as many things as I can before he goes. He's the owner, has to go buy that stuff. She's not the first one doing it as he's getting back in shape. Okay, but you see he's fine. He's trying to look around, but see, he turns his head right, I pull left. And I'm pushing him over with my left leg. Like, you don't have time to think about that stuff. Now, I'm not walking. If I didn't put my leg on him, Look how slow he goes. So I'm not walking like that because I'd never get anywhere. I'd never get up this trail. I'm like, oh my God, you're so slow. Which other people might like, but you're out here, you want to walk with some energy. You want this horse thinking about you, not thinking about wobbling around and what can I stare at because I'm so bored. But this horse you have to push. Some horses, you know, are more sensitive and they just go, and some you have to push. I think for most people, the push horses are better. They might get annoyed, but they're better. They're usually calmer. Okay? So you'll see every time he's like, did you see the trash can, Gay? And I was like, yeah, we saw the trash can. And you saw those when I trained you years ago. So just pay attention. I know you're okay. Okay, but each horse is different. If the horse was real spooky or I didn't know him, I might be bringing him over there checking that stuff out. But I can feel him. He's calm. He's just like, hey, want to look at that? And I was like, no, let's just keep going. We got a lot of horses to get out. Okay, but so far he's totally fine with all this stuff, but I'm riding with a forward energy. It's not fast, but it's forward. And I got my rein short. I got my leg slightly pushing, and then anytime he sucks back, or like at the trash cans, I give him a little tap with my stick. It's not hard. It's just saying, hey, pay attention. Okay, remember, this is not a car, so you got to keep their attention on you. When they're looking around, they're looking far around. They're usually not looking at the road right in front of them, you know, like that speed bump, because if they did, they'd put their head down. So realize what your horse is doing and help to correct them. So I can look all over, which I just did, and there's a dog up that driveway, which you can't see. A big, huge one. So I'm checking, are my reins short enough? Are they even in case he comes flying down that driveway and charges the fence? Because dogs like to do that because it's a fun game when they got nothing else to do in their life. Right? Remember COVID and you guys were asking the dogs what they did all day? That's one of their games. Run down and scare other animals. Okay, so I'm looking all around, just assessing, is there danger? There's guys picking flowers over there. And they got the flowers up over their head. See him looking left? He's like, can I look at that? I'm like, no, it's just flowers over some guy's head. Keep going. So here comes a bump. It's a speed bump. I'm going to make him go over it this time before I went in the middle of it. Yeah, half halt, make sure they're paying attention. Sit back. Take little steps, because walking horses take big steps so they can catch their toes on things like that. So it's the same thing. You see a root of a tree, a log, half halt, get them paying attention, and then you look straight ahead. Don't look down at the object. If you do, it puts 10 more pounds of weight on the horse's front end. Yeah, and keep your rein short in the beginning until you really know that horse. So this speed is not very fast for like walking horses, but this is his flat walk. So you can hear the football. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a pony on the right. That's the merry-go-round that I showed you guys one time. Oh, sorry, buddy. So the pony's coming over. Zorro's like, what the hell is that? It's black and white, so what does he see? And then there's a green tree behind it, and it's dark over there. So Zorro's like, what is it? Oh, it's a pony. Let's go see the pony. Because I can tell he's unsure. So the closer I get, the better he can make it out. Because he can see half his head because it's behind the board. Right? So let's go up. Because I have to come back this way. So this is why horses are afraid of other horses. Because you couldn't tell what he was. And the pony's like, hi guys. What are you doing? Where are you going? Okay, but this guy's out all the time. So now that Zorro sees, it has a head, and he can see what it is. Remember, horses don't see the same. So I don't want him to touch him. I don't know if he has a disease, but yeah, you can see him. Okay, time to go. So now he sees him, and now he's okay. But you see, that time, I knew I'd have to come back by this pony, so I want him to see what it is, and not have that pony charge the fence, and then he doesn't know if it's a mountain lion or what it is. So remember, it's not, a lot of the horses, don't see detail, and they have to, what you can see at 60 feet, he can see at 20 or 10. Each horse is different, so I bring him up to it if I'm not sure, and I know it's not going to kill us, so he can see what it is. If you're going to start riding down the roads, but you don't know much about road riding, you're always trying to look at the cement or the pavement. Don't ever ride on that slick stuff right there, where it's all blacktop. That's like glass. You ride on there, your horse can slip and fall down. And I've seen it happen. So I always try to avoid that. If I have to go on it, I make the horse take little tiny steps and really pay attention. But you be careful of that slick black top. That's like ice skating. Okay? And some people don't know that. Take their horse right on it, and as I'm going, no, and then it falls down. So sometimes as you go downhill, they get a little crooked because they're weaker in their stifles or they have a big overstride. If it's huge overstride, I'll let them get a little crooked. And I'm talking about like 3 to 3 feet overstride. This horse doesn't. But when they're weaker, they'll go a little sideways. So what I do is just go slower and get their weight on their back end by half halting every step and keeping them straight so they get stronger over time. If you don't help them, they won't naturally do that. It's like going to the gym. You're going to lift weights, but you're not going to lift them as hard as if the trainer's there screaming at you, making you go, 1 more, do 1 more, right? So that's what we're doing. We're always trying to strengthen our horses so they gait better and they do a better job. And I don't go fast down those hills. Okay? So now we're going uphill, so if you want to do a running walk, this is a good place to do it. This horse is on the trotty side, but he still can get a little pacey. Okay? And I like to make straight lines, so you'll see I'm in the middle of the road or sometimes in the quarter side of the road because I want to hold the horse straight. I don't want the grass or the fence to hold my horse straight. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You keep his head down because this horse can rack, and that's what he'll do because it's easier. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just slid the bit because he's trying to look left. The squirrel jumped out of a tree. Just slide the bit if they're not paying attention. See him getting slower because he's trying to look. All the horses look right here, so nothing's wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go faster, Zorro. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just tapped him with my stick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bet you didn't know I could sing. It's not very good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to slow him back down. So I had to push him. I had to tap him with my stick because he's a lazier horse. And he's like, why run when I can walk? I said, no, it's called a running walk. So you are going to run and walk. He's like, I don't get your joke, Gaye. All right. So you keep their head down when you're going up hills like that. You know, if they're not getting trotty and it's a walking horse, I keep their head down and try to get them to drive with their back end. If it's getting too trotty, I bring their head up. He's like, you talking more than anybody I know. Okay, but now he's getting lazier, so now I'm using a little leg and I just tap him twice with my stick. I never have to do it hard. It's just a reminder, like, keep going, pay attention. Okay, we're going to stop while he's sneezing. So I just want to point something out vision-wise because I'm always trying to teach you guys. So if there's a chain between 2 green poles. Horse won't see that if he's spooking and going fast because remember, they can't see details, so they'll see the poles, but they won't see that chain, and they'll run right into it and flip over. So you always pay attention, be aware where those things are in case your horse spooks, because you don't want to be anywhere in the vicinity of something like that because that'll flip you over. Okay. Remember, you can see the chain, but they can't. Okay, so this starts to go uphill, so we're going to make him work again. Well, here we go. So flat walk, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 2 horses down in the gully here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we're going to have to stop. There you go in the bathroom. I had to get off. He's big. He's trying to eat the grass. So you'll see I faced him towards the grass. He can have a little bite now that I'm on. But I didn't want him doing that while I was trying to get on. Or he won't be able to get on. Nope. And I didn't face towards home because that would make him want to go home. But he got to look at the horses over there. Right? They're like, what are you doing? Okay. So now we're going to go back to work. So this is our flat walk. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Now running walk. So all I'm going to do is squeeze with both my legs. Not too fast, just a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, a lot of the horses, some dog just scrawled at us. A lot of the horses can rack, and that's an easy gait. So if I just sped him up, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, well, it's like a saddle gait or a slow rack. And they do that kind of sometimes hoppy step or can't. I want him to work his back and his stomach, so I want to practice the running walk most of the time, and I can always do the rack if he gets tired. But if you let them do the rack, they're not going to do the running walk because it's harder. Some won't even want to do the flat walk because that's harder. So make them engage, make them use themselves so they get used to doing all the gaits. Don't just do a walk and then a really fast gait, okay? You want to be able to kind of move out and work your horse. So lots of dogs. Fences. He has not been up here. I'm still riding in the blue, but right by the red. I'm looking around. I hear you. It's making moany noises. So when we get up here, there's alpaca because my client told me the difference. So I know it's not a llama. They got cute little chubby faces, but they're shaved. I can't remember if this guy is saying alpacas or not, so we'll see. Right? There he is over there, skinny little thing. He's breathing harder. You can hear him. So I'm going to get up here and let this horse look. Because again, he sees different, and we have to pass him twice. Look at their little ears. Okay? So now we'll see if he turns his head. You stay calm. I can feel his heart a little bit. It's not fast, but it's a little faster, and he's like, I'm a little unsure about this. And of course, all the alpaca just turned into statues, right? Because they're like, is that a predator? So he doesn't know, they don't know. So he backed up a little bit. I'm not going to do anything yet. I'm going to give him some time. Could you guys move? Thank you. Because once they move, then he sees it's an animal. But see, they're just as curious as he is. Good, one's running at us. That's nice. Ah, you're the brave one. Or you're the one who wants to scare us. Hi, guys. Ever have 4 alpaca run at you? Sure, some of you have. They are the weirdest looking things. Let's go closer so you can see and they can see you. Hi. What you guys doing? Yeah? So a couple don't have their face shaved. They look chubby, and the other ones, oh. So see them turning their head side to side? See all their ears just go down? Now they're listening to me. And you can see who they're listening to. Remember, they're a prey animal just like he is. And there's horses over to the right down there, but you can't see them. I love it, like they're listening. They're like, where? He's just like the other ones. Now, he's gray. So, to some animals and some horses, they haven't seen a gray one. So they don't know what it is. They're like, is that a ghost? Is that one of those ghost horses? Yeah, it is. So see, they're just like horses. Same thing. There's, if all of a sudden I scream boo or slam something, they might all spook and run away. He could do the same. Let's go a little closer. So see, if I did this wrong, he could have gotten real scared. But instead, we're just hanging out. Guess what? You can have a little cookie for staring at the alpaca. So sometimes, you only get to see things once. Take advantage of the situation. Get your horse over it. He's like, what? How'd you get a cookie? We see the alpaca every day. We don't get anything. He's backing up because all he's saying is, you know what? My comfort level is back here. He's not trying to run away. He's just like, I don't want them in that bubble of my space where I feel comfortable. It's just like if I went to put a spider on you, you might say, well, you could put it 3 feet from me and I'm okay. But if you put it on me, I'm going to scream. So now the alpaca is scratching on the fence. So, you know, give them their bubble. They don't have to touch everything, right? They don't have to touch everything. If they want to touch it, they can. But this, I don't go up to random fences because sometimes they're electric. But see, now he came over, so he trusted me. He said, I want to back up. And I said, that's okay. You can stand here instead. Can you hear him? He's smelling them. He's going like this. But this is why I take my time. Now they're bored with me. Yeah. It's like I'll stand here all day if I get cookies. Okay? See how his ears just went back? Because he's listening to the dog. And they're up. Are you guys listening to me? They're like, no, we're bored with you. Okay. Well, now we're going to go. But if you take your time, now Zorro doesn't want to leave the alpaca because he got food. Then when we come back, we'll see if he gets spooky at them or not. But if you don't take your time, I let him look with both sides of his head. So if you pass it on the right, he just sees it out of his right eye, and you come back and pass it on the left, he sees it out of his left eye. There's a little waterfall there. So it looks different. So if you stop and let him look out of both eyes, then most likely when you come back, they won't be as scared. Okay, so this is also an out and back trail, but for some reason this usually doesn't set the horses off like my sand trail up on top does. So we're going to turn. Now the barking dog will be behind us. Good job. Good job. And I'm sure that's a guard animal dog. There he is. That's what I said to your guard dog. With that alpaca. There's a black alpaca. Hi. All right. Really, get out of here. Really. Stop screaming with our babies. Okay. So those were different alpacas, not the same ones that are up here. That's another neighbor. They must have all bought them together. Going through the neighborhood, the people are like, why does that lady ride through here? She gets all our dogs barking. Okay, so now we got the volcano waterfall thing again that he looked at, and now we got the alpaca up here. So now let's see what happens. Is Gaye right? And Zorro will just go by? Look, Zorro's like, if I go over there, I get more food. So I'm letting him turn his head right now. Yep. So see, Zorro was fine. But that's the difference between helping a horse get through something and doing it right and understanding their behavior and how they see and how they are comfortable with things with his little, bubble, versus you beating it up, beating it, and getting it by the object, but then you're going to have to beat it by the object again. He said, that's right. We're not machines. Okay, now I'm going to tell you something else. I just posted that video with Cupcake and talking about energy, but maybe you guys didn't watch the video. Your energy affects your horse. So my energy is calm, but dominant. Okay, this works with dogs too. You want a calm, dominant energy. So they look to you for the leader, they look to you for help, and then you have a plan and instruct them. You be there for them. If I had a nervous energy and didn't know what to do, Zorro probably would not be so calm and willing to do things. Okay? So they want to go with the person, just like we do, who's calm and dominant and knows what they're doing. We don't want to go with someone who's freaked out and goes, oh my God, look at that alpaca. Are you going to spook? Are you going to spook? Oh my God, it's going to move. He's going to spook. He's going to spin. I don't know what to do. What should I do? Because that person will scare you. So if you are a person like that, again, I wouldn't get a 12-year-old horse. I'd get an old plug, 20, who just can ignore you, okay? But you have to keep a calm energy. You breathe through your mouth. Keep yourself calm. Keep telling yourself it's going to be fine. Do not say bad things. Don't look off the cliffs and say, oh my God, we're going to fall off the cliff. You just stay calm, stare straight ahead, and you go, we're fine. Yep, we're fine. There's no issue. I don't see the cliff. Keep breathing. We'll get by it, and then I can freak out later. Keep yourself calm, because your horse needs you to. One of you has to be calm and able to do things. I think the car is coming. So you want to help them, not scare them. So see, there's a car coming. I'm not going to stay in the road. I want to be nice, get out of their way. They're being very nice. And be respectful. See, that must be a horse person because they're going slow. They understand. But you don't know if somebody's going to get by you and it's kids and they gun the car because they're being goofy. They're just being kids. Okay? So get your horse out of the way if possible. Alright, so now Zorro's looking at the rock. Lots of horses look at big rocks. So don't freak out if you buy one online. It shows up and it starts spooking at every rock. It looks like a crouching lion. And what do lions do? They eat horses. So that's why they look at them. So you go up, take your time, let them see the rocks, and then over time, they'll get used to it and they won't care about the rocks anymore. Here comes the speed bump, so half halt, he's sneezing, so I know he's not paying attention. Now I'm going very slow because I want him to pick up his feet. The speed bumps are the same color besides those white lines, so the horses don't always know. They have to pick their feet up higher. Alright, so now he's better, he's calmer. Now I'm going more into the blue and I'm not right on the red. Because now we wore some energy out. He's already seen everything one direction. So I'll shorten up if I see something, but otherwise I can let him relax. But I'm still going to keep him kind of walking out. You don't want their head real low because then they might not pay attention and they could get trippy. Because remember, walking horses tend to slide their feet and not pick them up very high unless they're very trotty. Okay? So on the road, you're probably fine, but if they're stepping over things, you want to make sure they're paying attention. And I know some of you don't want to do that, but you pay attention when you drive, right? And that's a machine. So why wouldn't you pay attention when you're on a living animal? And remember, everybody forgets what horses are. They're prey animal. So you are riding a deer, just a wider deer and maybe a bigger deer, but you are on a deer. And it can spook and it can run. Some are calmer and some are not. But remember, it's not the calm ones that survive if something bad happens, it's the spookier ones. So never forget that. Always keep that in the back of your mind. I'm riding a deer. I hope it's Bambi. I always crack myself up. Neighbors probably think I'm nuts. Okay, here we go. The funnest part of this whole ride is going up this hill. If you stop sneezing, there's so many flowers out here, a lot of the horses sneeze. So I'm going to speed up. I hope you can sneeze and gait. We're going to find out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So which gait do you think this is? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's our flat walk. So now we're going to go faster because now it's getting steeper. No. There we go. So I had to get after him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because he was going to throw his head up and try to rap. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a flag swing. A little tap with the stick. And paying attention. There's ponies staring at us out that barn. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your horse straight. If they're getting crooked as you're going uphill, you straighten them. So if their butt goes to the right, you tap them with your right leg. If their butt goes to the left, you tap them with your left leg. But hold them straight. They're telling you they're weak and they need your help to stay straight. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going, Zorro. So I'm pushing him, but it's a light leg. Now you see his head come up. He's like, how about I rack? Because it's much easier. And I'm like, no, I want to build your back on. Hi! That guy's like, she's crazy talking to herself. He's thinking, does she really have a camera on? She's just a nut. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's doing much better now. Now he's looking for the pony. Where's that pony? He's going to come out right when we least expect it. So now he's a little faster in his running walk. Nice, Zorro. But it's going to go downhill, so we'll slow down. There's a pony behind the tree. There he comes. So I'm going to stop because otherwise the pony... Are you going to run up? Hurry up. Hi, pony. Good boy. Because I might as well wait so he sees what it is. Good job. Hi, buddy. You coming? And we provide the pony some entertainment for the day. But if I see the pony, he's in the dark, say I just keep going, which is fine. But this is Zorro's first time out here, so I'm not going to do that with him the first time. I'm going to let him see that the pony's coming so he doesn't get scared. Then that pony gets a visitor for a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that's alright. That's probably about it. So remember those poles with the chain in between, you stay away from them. See how I'm going over to the left? So if something happens, he's spooked. I try to get as far away from those things as I can. I hope you're big enough to break the chain. As you're riding, you know, as they get tired, they're going to want to put their head down. But if they yank their head down, don't give in. See how he just did that? He did it right on cue. Right? And then his ligament just gave out a little bit there. Again, that's normal for a lot of these gaited horses. Just kind of give sometimes. And now he's not paying much attention. People are with the flowers, and he's like, I'm bored, I'm going downhill. So I just slid the bit. I did a little rough, like, hey, pay attention to me. But if they pull their head down and you let go of the reins, they will constantly pull their head down to get that release. So when they pull if they're pulling their head down on you, slide the bit like that. Make it a little rough, and they usually won't like it. And if you do that every single time they yank on you, that yanking will go away. Because they'll figure out when they yank, it becomes very uncomfortable for them. But then in the back of your mind, you just go, am I pulling on him too much? Does he need a little break? Maybe I'll loosen the rein for a minute, just give him a little break, and then I'll pick back up because I'm going downhill, so I'm not going to do that. So, again, these are not quarter horses. And if you're on a Rocky, it might be different. That has a shorter stride, but these big strided horses, you got to keep them paying attention going down the hill, and I'm on cement too, so we're being cautious here. I'm kind of flat walking down this hill. Some of you might think this is really fast. It's not. And I don't want him to fall asleep on his feet, so just half halt, keep him balanced. But he's very stable, has a good stride. He's not a trippy horse. Okay, but if I go down super slow, I'll never get back to the barn either. Okay, so usually I try to lie it up sideways, but it's hard with this gait because there's rocks in the way. So you gotta back up a little. So the gate hit him in the foot. It's okay, wait. Don't let them rush through. Good boy. Now I'm gonna shut the gate, but we're not gonna hook it because we're coming back. So I don't want him to step off the rocks because I did that before to open the gate correctly, and we sunk. So I already know that. But see, that gate smacking him scared him a little bit. He didn't freak out. That was normal. If I hit you with the gate, wouldn't you jump a little? So we're going to get over here. And once we get over here, I'm going to stop and I'm going to graze him. Cross on the road. Because that's going to be his reward, and I want to get some exercise. So I'm going to walk up the road. And then when I walk up the road, I'll either ride him in the arena when I get back, so I can do some more. Let's stop here, Zorro. And then I'll probably tie him up as well. And that's why he won't be barn sour. Okay, that's it, people. Hope you enjoyed my ride. And just remember, they are not machines. What do you say, Zorro? I am not a machine. He's like, you're so stupid, Gaye. All right. Adios, people.